Hello guys, let's do this again. Inside my head, next episode. I caught this guy 2285 searching for a game, so I thought that, well, let's do it, why not? This time it's a Sicilian on the menu. Expecting either g6 or a6, or knight c6. Which is the Rauzer system, and this time I'm going to go for the main line, because there is a better potential there that we can do some fun business there. Unless they play bishop e7 here, which will make it a very theoretical and not so entertaining battle. But yeah, they can still play a6 here, which no. Okay, so we are headed for the most boring line, but I'm going to try to breathe some life into it by playing here the king b1 variation, which is basically announcing already what's going to come at them, which is that if they play h6 to get rid of it, this pesky bishop, then I'm going to play h4. And rather wild complications are going to occur on the board. There are various motives how black can combat this, but the main idea remains the same, that now the g5 bishop remains where it was despite of his intentions to kick it out, and after takes, of course, I do have the h file, and the quick regrouping of my heavies can easily result in a checkmating scenario. And other than that, my plan is basically to develop the bishop here and then break through with e5, and all while doing this, keeping the bishop on g5. Now this is still heavily theory, and it's a rather fascinating line indeed. Rook d8 is the main variation here, against which I think queen e3 is the move. The idea is to remove the queen from the file. Also making sure that e5 doesn't come with a tempo, because it's often annoying when e5 comes and then they take on f4, and then taking here becomes far more possible. And last but not at least, if I had played in this position bishop d3 right away, then queen c5 would have forced the queens off, and I really like the lady on the board when I'm sacking pieces. Rook at a8 is also a very useful move, because after takes, it basically opens up the path for the king to run away in some cases. So now I have to calculate a little bit deeper when it comes to taking on g5. So yeah, super fascinating battle is about to be seen. I'm rather delighted that I went for this variation. I was just checking about who is watching us online. We already have 20 spectators. Yeah, I think from memory bishop d7 followed by rook c8 is the best black can do, trying to counterattack on the queen side, sacking an exchange on c3, trying to disturb my king's position as well, and simply just ignore the bishop on g5. But I may be wrong, so I will have to look it up after this game. I haven't looked at the theory of this variation for a long time. a6 seems to be a very irrelevant move, so I don't really like the look of it. Obviously he wants to play b5, but after that I'm gonna chuck e5 in, and I think that we are going to look very good there. Yeah, a6 feels iffy. It's stock standard in Sicilian, but normally in this variation black doesn't do it. In fact, if he wanted to play b5, he should have played it in one go. Just chuck it at me, b5, bishop takes, rook b8, and all of a sudden the attention has shifted from the king side to the queen side, whereas now, yeah, these are very timid moves. This is not looking good. Although one advantage of this move is that it basically covered the bishop on e7, so now if I play e5 after take fe, he can play knight d5 without taking further damage. Although even that is a fair bit iffy. Actually, I'm quite fascinated by this attacking idea of e5 takes, and if knight d5 then knight takes, and if rook takes then queen e4, and all of a sudden it's rather difficult to stop the mate down there, because on g6 I just take the free pawn. Whereas if after e5 takes, knight d5, knight takes, e takes, then I think I've got bishop takes h6. In fact, I may have that on the other variation too. And please note that I also have the attacking idea of f5 here, with the intention of then sacking. And here we can see another advantage of playing h4, which is that the rook can come up and join the attack rather quickly on g3. Now, all that said, I prefer the idea of e5 over everything else. Because having the bishop on d3 allows me to play a quick queen e4 and create lots of very dangerous checkmating threats down at h7. So we are going to go for that. Tuck tuck. If knight g4, then queen here. And again, because of the mate threat, he's restricted to a very few moves. I think we are rock and rolling here. Jugadornocturno looks like an Italian dude by the name. Let's check him out. Who he is. Well, we don't know what nationality he is. Okay, whatever. So yeah, he's thinking, and rightly so, because the overall picture is not looking too good. I mean, if you just try to apply general chess knowledge, which I talk about a lot to my students because they somehow tend not to use them. I have completed development, minus my rook, but even that's arguable because it's actually perfectly developed for the h-file attack. My opponent has got a bishop and a rook at home, and even his pieces that are currently out are occupying rather passive positions. So compare this whole setup versus the one that I told you that he probably should have tried here b5. So b5, bishop takes rook b8, then bishop drops back somewhere, and all of a sudden he has got a fair few threats around my king. Bishop d7, another rook comes to c8. All of a sudden the black pieces all make sense. He has got some sort of finish here, even it's not obvious what I'm doing on this side. Now compare that versus what's happening in the game. I am already having a massive attack in the center and on the wing, and all he has achieved on the queen side was a very timid a6 followed by an even more timid queen c7. So his play was very inconsistent and passive, and in any Sicilian where both sides have got very obvious and dynamic plans, it's not acceptable to play moves like this. Like, this is another golden rule that I always tell my students: don't go backwards ever, which is a bit over the top kind of advice, because every now and then we do go back, but on principle, like, what's the point of this move? If the best it achieves is to guard its bishop, then we have to say that nay, you can't play like that. Anything is better than that. Alright, it's my turn. So now all is left is to prove that what I was just saying actually is legit. So the knight is hanging, taking here. I think I would take back actually this way instead of taking the knight, because it's more important that I can then be super duper annoying down there. Just for the sake of explaining to you a bit about king b1, imagine the following line. He takes, I take, he goes back to, hey, no, he can't, so I can't even demonstrate with that. Okay, so for the argument's sake, take, knight d7, queen h3, bishop takes g5, queen h8 mate. Yeah? Now if I hadn't played king b1, then bishop takes g5 would be a check. Then I would have to go to the side, and then the bishop would go back to h6, blocking off my h-file completely, and I would be dead lost. So this is the one of the very important points of playing king b1 at an earlier stage. He has a lot of squares to go to, really, but almost all of them would be followed up by the same move, either taking the knight. Actually, he can't go there, so knight e8, knight d5, knight g4. Almost all of them are followed up by queen e4. Obviously, knight d5 I'll take first, and if pawn takes, I'll take that. If rook takes, then I go queen e4. I think it's pretty dead here. Okay, so if he takes here, I was looking at take knight g4, queen h3, and then knight h6, with the intention that if I take the knight on h6, he pushes through. And that seems to be avoiding the immediate disaster. So if he takes, I may have to consider taking here. Bishop takes, bishop takes c3, queen h3. Yeah, no. Okay, so he went to d5. I'm going to have a look at this in the analysis just to see what his reaction would have been. Okay, so I wanted to take, and I can't really convince myself why I shouldn't. And then bang. If he doesn't take back d4, queen f4, and in any other case, I can drop back to g5, or on some occasions I may be able to even take on g7, but right now I don't think it's a realistic threat. I expect him to play something like d4, queen f4, bishop e6. It's probably what I would do. Then I may have queen g3, renewing the mate threat, bishop f8, h5, threatening take, and h6. Yeah, it's getting dirty. It is getting dirty there. I'm not really looking at g takes h6 to be honest, because after queen takes h6, if we are realistically analyzing this position, I'm attacking with most of my pieces, and he has got one piece on the king side to guard his absolutely naked king, so the chances of him surviving that is very limited. And so I'm not really, I mean, obviously I did look into some moves, but I couldn't find anything that would have stopped the mate without any major damage. So either he sees something cool now, or he's dead. Okay, my main concept is that I don't want to go for these checks. I want to go for the bishop check, then bishop back, then queen up, and queen mate here. Now that motif now doesn't work. Please note it would have been the bishop on e7, although then this one works too. But now having played bishop c5, he covered the f7 square. So this most simple way for me to... Actually, there are two very cute ways to win for me now. One of them is to hit the f-pawn. And the other one is to play... Oh, wow, that one doesn't work. What a pity. I thought that would win, but after bishop takes, pawn takes, my rook g1 threat is stopped by the bishop. So I'm just going to play rook f1. And now my threat again is check, king here, and then bishop drop back check, and f7 is hanging. And because if I just played rook f1, it is also threatening with this as a side effect. And I'm just about to do that. And now that's mate. Except that I missed that now he can take here. Uh-oh. Oopsie daisies. Alright. Okay, if he takes the check, check here, and rook f7 is still mate. Phew! Okie dokie. That was a bit unnecessary mess. I mean, okay, it's not unnecessary and it's not mess. What was unnecessary was that I should have been more careful with my calculation, but the motif is the same, and that was the reason why I brought the rook on the f-file in the first place, because now king f8 is met by rook f7 and then mate. He's going to resign now. No. No, he's not. Now he did. Alright, well that was a cute attack. So, let's very quickly fly through this game. So, opening is the Richter Rauzer system, named after two German guys who discovered this system. So h4 was the wild piece sacrifice idea. Rook d8 is a correct response. And after queen e3, I believe that my files say something about b5 being an interesting counter-attacking concept. With rook b8, I don't know if the bishop can drop back here or not. And then maybe bishop d7, rook here, and so on. Something rings me about it. That's a possibility. And also bishop d7, bishop d3, rook fc8 looks very normal, with the intention of causing trouble down here. I would have to look it up later on. Anyway, he went a6. That was a very pale move. Bishop d3, queen c7. That was another very pale move. And I went d5. The computer approves of my play. Take, knight d5, knight d5, e d5, and bishop a6. So I played perfect chess according to the computer, and no surprise really, in the sense that that's just a very thematic sacrifice here. Okay, take, bishop h6, and from here on the attack is playing itself. The computer recommends queen d7. If that's the best move that you can play in this position, then you might as well resign. Take, bishop c5, which was classified as a blunder, and rook df1 was the correct move. Awesome. I'm very proud of myself. And in fact, after bishop e6, rook f3 was the correct move too, which is not so surprising, but for a second it made me rather worried, because I was like, oh my god, queen e5 and I have no mate, but of course I do, because now f7 is left unguarded. It was a rather smooth and easy attack, or rather easy looking. I had to check a number of variations along the lines, but really, yeah, once he played this very timid a6 followed by queen c7, I had a very easy job in executing this attack, and yeah, have some fun really in this game, because this is the type of chess that I enjoy playing the most. So I'm very glad that I recorded this, and I hope that you guys learned something useful from it, and I will be back with more soon. Thanks for watching.